Hello and welcome back to the Drivers Room Endurance Championship for Season 2, Tier 2, Round 3. After 2 rounds, Pluxtheduck leads in the Team Motion Blur Poland entry, with Rocker right behind. And we've got Lorcas and Grim, Lionessi and Mung. Those two are a little further down in the points than one would expect. But let's see what happened down at St Croix C II in the Group 1 cars for all the action today. Take a look at the grid now, find out all the action that occurred here in qualifying.
I'm rocking.
So we take a look now at the grid. We can see Mung on pole in the Hyundai. He'll be starting on the softs on the front but supers at the rear. And we've got Jules on the super softs, sticking it on the front row. Great qualifying there by Jules. And we have Fangster. He'll be starting on the supers as well in the Hyundai. Lionessi. He'll be starting from 4th on the soft tyres. Not great qualifying for him, but he should race better than he qualifies. Lorcas in the Audi. Expect him to get an excellent start. Fastest starting car in the class. Then we have Pluxtheduck starting on the supers in the Hyundai for Team Motion Blur Poland. Right behind him, the other junior driver in the field. This is Berkey in the Made for Racing Junior, or Made for Donuts entry. He'll be starting the race on the soft tyres. Then we've got V8 in the Bugatti. A little further down the grid than he'd be hoping for. See if he can race well. Next to him, also in the Bugatti, also starting on super soft tyres, is Halder, or Jason, in the Mistral car. And we have Craig in the Rockstar livery machine. He will be starting the race on soft tyres. Look for him to go for a slightly longer first stint. Same with Grim. The Hyundai is capable of having excellent tyre wear if you don't overstress the tyres. So you might be able to get 6 or 7 laps out of those tyres. Then we have JC. He'll be starting a fast starting Audi. He'll be starting on soft tyres. Look for him to make places at the start. Same with Jammy. The McLaren is pretty good off the start. Not the best car in the initial phase, but very good once the hybrid kicks in. And at the back we have Ricky. He's having a bit of a miserable season so far. But that's our grid. So we're here now on the start line. 1 hour of racing, about to get underway. Mung on the left. Jules on the right. Like I say, look out for Lorcas in the fast starting Audi. They're away. Everyone gets away cleanly. Great start by Lioness in the Bugatti. And here he comes. I said it'd happen, and already Lorcas has got to the lead in the Audi. That's just how good that car is off the line. Oh, we've got huge trouble at the back. It's Berkey round. 3 or 4 cars in the wall. Absolute shocker for Berkey. We'll have to take a look back at the start, see what happened. So we're following on board with Jules, who got absolutely swarmed at the start. Him and Lionessi were in the wall first, and then just everyone followed them in. Everyone was a bit too hot into that corner. A similar issue happened last time we came here a year ago. But it was a much smaller grid that race. It wasn't so bad. We're going side by side, Grim and Jason, as we go through the first couple of corners. Really difficult section here if you go out wide like that. And oh, Jason hits the wall. Ricky hits the wall. Absolute travesty for those two after a reasonably good start. There's Berkey all the way back in 30s. Ricky slowly pulling away, but it's Lorcas out front. We knew it'd start fast, and now he's got to try and hold them off. It's Fang in second with Mung third. Verdict in 4th and Lionessi in 5th, so he's lost a position because of his poor turn 1. Definitely looked like he had some good pace in testing. There's Craig in 6th with right behind him. And we've got the McLaren of Jammy, who's made a great start up from the back row. Oh, and Jammy hits the wall though. JC also clipped JC, Craig, I think someone clipped the wall there, I didn't quite see, they flashed by in a blur. We see these two now. Berkey trying to recover after a poor start. The Alpine will be fast in the first section of the race. Oh, thanks, just piled into the wall. Well, says Mung. Let's take a look back, see what happened there. So it's Mung up behind Fang as we go over the bridge. Such a hard braking zone here. You want to brake just as you see the markings on the road there. And he just misses it. Oh! Piles into the back of Fang. Does the honourable thing of waiting. At least Lionessi and Verdict. Towards tricky middle sector. On board with Verdict up in 2nd. Lionessi 3rd. Fang 4th. Mung 5th. And we've got another problem for Jammy there on this opening lap. Very eventful lap. Berkey's back up to 10th now. Recovering well after that poor start. Take there on JC. And Craig and Gr1 coming together there. It's a very weird collision. Maybe that those two can't see each other. That's become a bit of a recurring bug in the game at the moment, where certain drivers can't see each other. It's a very strange contact between those two. There's Berkey. Oh, big overstart. Oh, even worse for Jay. Even worse for Jay there. Ricky recovering after his opening lap problems. Off the back of the field now as we head down towards the final turn. Berkey, see if we can get a good exit. Again, those two seem to be having some weird network issues, I think. Not quite the same piece of road, but when they touch, they're not acting like normal cars. Monk. Lionessi put all sorts of pressure on Verdict there. And we've got a yellow flag, and it's Verdict who's gone round. So from P2, he's binned it. It's an easy place to do it. Very easy to just run wide through that section. We'll probably take a look back at that in a minute. There's Lorcas having made an absolute flyer of a start. Oh, that's a bit wide through the hairpin though, but he can save himself with the hybrid system. So we're on board with Verdict now. Let's see what happened to Verdict. Not too bad, but a little wide on exit, and just catches that curve and around she goes. Gets away, I think, with either no damage or minimal damage. Now he's got rear wing damage, but that will fade. We are not damaged here in tier 2. Berkey's storming back up through the field. V8 now, all over the back of Gr1. V8 having a fairly good run. Craig. Oh, he's a bit wide on exit, but he's got the better run. He should be able to get a run down the back straight. Very long straight here. One of the strengths of the Alpine over the other cars, but the Hyundais, once they're in the tow, are actually very good in the straight line as well. They seem to run out of puff on their own, but when they get the slipstream, they're very good. Bang. Oh, having an absolute shocker through there. There's Lionessy. Oh, the good gap from Fangster now. We're back on board with Locas. Everyone will be purple on this second lap. It's just a factor of the game, unfortunately. Lionessy, the big bug. I say the big bug, it's actually one of the most balanced and easiest cars to drive in the field. It doesn't quite have the top end punch and it doesn't quite have the ultimate turn. But it's just a really sound car, and more and more drivers seem to be going back to that car. Oh, a forceful move by Jules there on the inside. On Mung. Jules having one of his better races actually. He struggled a lot in Tier 1 last season with the heavy damage. He dropped down back to Tier 2. There's Fangster. Jules. Still on the tail. Doesn't have to get his head down. Looks like he's made a mistake there. This is actually part of the track where the Peugeot is very strong because of its hybrid. Kind of kicks it out the corners really powerfully. You can see that here actually. Even though the Hyundai is four-wheel drive, he pulls away in that open section of the kind of second to last straight. And having a look down the inside, thinks better of it. Jules gets it turned in nicely, gets it on the power nicely, will pull away again because he'll have a little bit more hybrid power. And that'll probably protect him down the main straight. We're back on board with our leader, Lopez, with a good first lap. Lionessy with a better one. Lionessy's admitted that his weakness so far, since joining the driver's room, has been qualifying. He qualified well in round 2. Well, actually, he qualified quite well in round 2. It's not his overall strength. Only 5th here today, but he runs much faster than he qualifies. Especially in Group 2. Lionessy seems to suit those cars as we're back on board with this battle for P3. Oh, Monk! Just went in a little too deep. It's so easy to do that. You're fully, the car's fully loaded up. You've missed that braking point by just a tiny bit, and you can be in real trouble. On board with Pluxtheduck. With Berkey now behind him. So Berkey's recovered really well. Back with this kind of second group. Leaders out ahead at the moment, but this group goes all the way up to P3, so Berkey can keep his head. He's got the pace now, possibly to be in P3. Oh, but he's gone a bit deep there. He needs to let off the power, run it deep. Oh, he's caught the wall. Oh no! Oh, Berkey. What a shame. It's too much grunt. And now he's going to have cooked his rear tyres as well, so he's going to have to probably pit earlier than he wanted to. And all that good work he did. Oh, JC just misses again. That's a real shame for Jay. The Audi is one of those cars which can be blindingly fast one lap, and then the tyres go off a tiny bit, and then it's awful. Skip ahead now. Berkey there. Oh, he's put the wall again. This is a lap ahead. Will he pit this time to get fresh rubber on, try and get back some track position on these guys by doing a good out lap? Looks like he has. What about Jay? Jay stays out. There's V8 up in 7th place. Good drive for him so far. Oh, and Jason's hit the wall in the same place as he did on lap 1. He'd recovered really well. He might actually get away without losing the position here because Gr1's are way away. And with no heavy damage, he may get back up and running before there's too much of a problem. So we're back on board with this fight now. Oh, Jules has fallen behind Mung. I missed that, unfortunately. Shown on screen. Jules' tyres starting to let go a bit there. Oh, you can see he just can't get the turn anymore, and that Peugeot's so long and its front engine, so it just requires that little bit more front tyre grip. When it goes, it just wants to understeer for days. There's a man who's making his Audi work though. Lorcas, even though he's got quite bad front tyre wear, he's probably moving that brake bias back rearward, which has the double effect of also harvesting more energy, so he can use his hybrid more and more. It's a good drive by Lorcas. Lorcas who's come back to the series after a few seasons absence. He was a an established Tier 1 driver on Tier 1 pace. Had to fall back to Tier 2 unfortunately. And there's Verdict. V8. Jason after his second mistake on the that was an unfortunate line there for Jason, just never got the nose in, but managed to keep out that barrier. There's Gr1 there, through the double right. On board with our leader again. Does he pit this time? No, he stays out. What about Nessie? Stays out as well. It's a fantastic looking car. There are kind of 3 VGTs which kind of fit the design ethos of this. As we see Jules pit now, it would be the Bugatti, the Audi and the outlawed Tomahawk. Those 3 cars kind of fit the design brief best, kind of the hypercar look. And unfortunately, the Tomahawk's a little bit too fast for now. We'll see if maybe future updates take it back a bit. Oh, and we've got a problem there, I think, for Jason again. Put that outside wall. That's going to give Berkey a free position on those fresh tyres up to 9th place. So can he still salvage something? Difficult race. Initial car there. Just a quick pit stop. Some fresh boots. No damage to have to worry about here. Back on board with our leader, who's driving brilliantly in the Audi. Like I say, it's a very difficult car. You have to really be patient with it. Except you're going to get power understeering as the hybrid deploys, so just make sure the wheels are straight when you hit. Oh, Fang makes a mistake there. I've seen him run that barrier already once today. That gives Mung P3. Now on lap 6 with Berkey. The same lap, just a little further down the road. And there's the power of the Alpine, best car in a straight line by a long way. The Hyundai, once it gets in that slipstream, will start to catch back up. It's got the same sort of top end, it just doesn't get there as easily. And these fresher tyres getting a better run up the hairpin and a slipperier car design. And powers through. The gap between these two stayed pretty much constant. They're both struggling with bad tyre wear now. That Audi does sound fantastic. It always sounds so angry. See the speed that car accelerates once it hits 100 miles an hour. It just bang and off it goes. The hybrid cars have all got slightly different thresholds for where they kick in their hybrid power. For a fact, the McLaren is at 100 miles an hour. The hybrid will deploy. Before then, it won't. It's actually why the McLaren's not so good at the start. It still has to deal with all the rear wheel understeer. Oh, sorry, oversteer. We will oversteer. At the lower wheels, you see these two come in. Comfortably out ahead. We've got Fang and Mung in as well. Fang, who'd gone for the supers all round. Mung had those soft front tyres. And comes back out on the softs. Fang's been is fueling up. Pluxtheduck doesn't. Fang going for a slightly sideways strategy there. Tanks the car. As he can run later, I guess, and has faster pit stops. But have worse tyre wears. We go back on board with these two on lap 7. Fresh boots, and it looks like Lorcas is fallen back towards Nessie a bit. So a great first lap by Nessie on those fresh tyres. Lorcas was the best of laps. Because he hasn't got those tyres into the operating window as well. They've had a small mistake. Nessie can see his target. Can he close him in? Big bug. Just looks fantastic though. That rear wing, definitely an almighty wing. And these two back having a fight again, Mung and Jules. We've seen this almost all race. Better run there by Mung through the first corner. Didn't use all the road, a little bit quicker. And that shell was incorrect. Mung came back out the supers, not the softs. And he was just using the soft tyres for the just to give his front a little bit more longevity on that first stint. And there's Pluxtheduck. Solid recovery at the moment. Fang now behind with a much heavier car. There's V8 holding off Berkey for now. Berkey's just at his best lap of the race so far. 3-minute flat, a little bit slower here into. Oh! That was about as lucky as you can get in Tier 1. As we take a look at the standings as they are, live timing, tiny gap between the two leaders, then a bit further back to Mung, Jules, Pluxtheduck, Fang, V8, Berkey, Jason, JC, Craig, Gr1 and Ricky, I believe, was the final cars in the pack. Oh, and Jamie, sorry. Fang. Sci-fi interior of this Honda. Oh, and that's Pluxtheduck again making a mistake. And that releases Fang. Not that Fang was putting an awful lot of pressure on him. Very good as we're now on board with Fang taking his second pit stop on lap 10. This time doesn't take any fuel. Berkey, who's dropped off a bit, so he's had another bad lap. Oh no, he hasn't, sorry, he's pitted. V8's pitting as well, so can he... will V8 get back out in front? Oh, V8's fueled, so probably not. This will be Berkey through for 7th position. Right, back on board with our leaders. That gap seems to be staying constant now between these two. Like Nessie has a better first lap in the car, but once Lorcas gets those tyres working, he seems to run a bit smoother, a bit faster. Lovely line through there by Nessie. Really smooth, using as much of the curb as he dares. Back on that power nicely. You can see there, that's how you have to drive the Audi kind of at half throttle through most corners. Stop the hybrid deploying too soon. Catching up to the back markers now, so about halfway through this race, just over. See now, the Bugatti's kind of big weaknesses, it's not very good in a straight line. It's not the best car in the fuel economy. It's pretty good, but it's not the best. It's definitely better than the Audi up ahead. The Audi isn't particularly good in a straight line either. It suffers with an overly long top gear. You kind of run it up to the rev limiter to stop that top gear being so boggy. There's Mung now pitting on into lap 11. Jules also pits. They're both completely out of fuel. Mung's managed to pull away from Jules in this stint. Pluxtheduck back ahead of Fang, but we did just see Fang pit, so we expect to see Fang come back past. Yes, he does. And that looked like Mung was back out. Jules has lost a position. He's lost 2 positions. He's had to take more fuel on, I think. That's cost him. It's at the end of lap 12. We should expect to see our leaders in. Yep. Oh, a late call by Lorcas there. Maybe he was trying to fake out Nessie, but Nessie's got more fuel on board, so he'll have a quicker stop. Can he get out ahead of the Audi? Watch the 2 crews. Lorcas is out. More fuel in for Nessie, so Nessie's going for the longest stint. The stint maybe he's trying to do something clever, run along, and then maybe put on a set of supers at the end to try and take the fight to Lorcas, because he won't make it to the end on that set of tyres. The tyre wear here is pretty brutal, a lot of fast sweepers early on, and then a lot of traction zones later to decimate all your tyres. It's kind of battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. It's very close now. Pluxtheduck. He's got back past Fang. Oh, Fang just about keeps it alive. He came into the probably into the wash of Ricky there. He's just doing the best he can to stay out the way of these guys. Oh, I think he's just driven off the circuit to make sure he doesn't get in the way of Jules, but Jules was a bit compromised through there. I think he should have stayed a little bit wider to the preceding corner and lifted off to give Jules his natural racing line. But these things have happened. It's Jammy. He's 13th in the McLaren. It's a very pretty car, but it's also a nightmare to drive. It was made better in one of the recent updates, but it still suffers with a tiny fuel tank and massively bad tyre wear. So we're now on lap 14 with Lionessi. Bit of bad camera work there. Director couldn't decide what camera he wanted on Nessie's bug. As I say, Nessie running longer on this stint. Ahead of Jules and Pluxtheduck. He's managed to get himself back ahead of them. Comes it in hard again. Oh, just keeps it out the barrier. It's such a tricky corner. It's tricky both ways round, to be fair. Gives you so much confidence in the initial phase because you've got so much downforce in the car, but you have to slow it down and lose grip as you get slower. It gets a little bit more skittish. This corner again, blind apex, off camber and falling away from you. It's just a horrible corner. Jules goes exceedingly wide through there, picks up the dirty air, I think. But great under the brakes there. If he can get it squirreled up, yeah, he gets it sorted on the exit, and now he's got that hybrid boost. And it's all over the back of the Hyundai. This is the section where the Peugeot is so strong because you can just get back on that boost as soon as you get back on the power. Or a bit of an untidy exit there from Jules. And you can see a P4 if he can get. Oh, that was a bad run through there. That's a shame. Corner's another difficult corner. You want to take as much speed as you possibly can, but you need to get yourself set up for the hairpin. Fang moving off the racing line, try and break that slipstream a bit. Try can't be too aggressive in his defence. Leaving isn't allowed. One move there, one move out and one move back. Be considered okay. As Jules takes a very late lunge, just probably trying to upset Fang's mirrors. Gets a good enough exit and uses that hybrid to stay with him. This is a great battle, and they're... Oh, it looked like Jules was following him, but he gets rid of it at the last second. Lorcas in the pits now at the end of 17. Lioness has still got fuel to go, so can he make it to the end? They have to do another 3 laps or so on that set of tyres. That would be tricky. Lorcas surrenders the lead of the race for the first time since he was on the grid. Unless he now has the control, can he manage those tyres? Can he make it work? Because this would be an absolute blinder of a strategy if he can do it. I think he pitted 1 lap too early to pull this off. If he'd stayed out an extra lap, I think his tyres would actually be okay and he'd make this work. But I think having to do 8 laps on such tyres is just going to be too much for the big bug. Likely to be a 20-lap race. There's Lorcas, it's not a big gap. Jump forward now. End of 17. Mung will be in. Mung's currently got the fastest lap of the race first, only taking in the 257s. So when he's been running on his own, he's been very quick, Mung. Unfortunately, he got caught up in early incidents, had a spin, had that collision with Fang, and he's never really had a chance to challenge. Lorcas now. Bit between his teeth, he knows he's got to close the distance to make sure that if Lioness needs to make a pit stop, splash and dash, he can take the lead back. He'll have the fresh tyres, he knows all he has to do is either force Lioness into a mistake or just drive the car at about 90% of its ability. He doesn't have to give it 10 tenths because he's got better tyres, he's got time. He cuts the leaderboard there. Gap's only about 2.9, so if Lioness has to pit, Lorcas will take the lead. It's a fairly long pit stop here, around 8 seconds just for tyres. Actually a bit more than that, sorry. About 10 seconds for tyres. This will come down as we're now on lap 19, so Lioness, he couldn't make it work. Or even if he could make it work, he's been caught up. In a matter of time, Mung's already just going to set a new best lap. Put Fang there. So, Lioness versus Lorcas. Lioness hasn't got the firepower I'd say that Lorcas does right now. Lorcas got better tyres. He's got a hybrid system to give him the boost as we quickly snap on board with Fang in the battle for 4th. Fang gets out just ahead of Jules. Jules is going to be hot though into this corner. Can he get it? Let's keep it round the outside. No, he couldn't quite keep the speed up and the momentum. He had to make sure he gave Fang the room on the exit and lost the speed. Now he's going to be in the dirty air. Let's get back up with the leaders. There is the Bugatti. There's the absolute missile of the Audi right now in that slipstream. He's caught up to 200 miles an hour. Gets it down the inside, doesn't know. Lioness is just taking that wide, slight defensive line, concentrating on his exit. Another slow corner here. This will favour Lorcas with the traction and the hybrid system who can get the power down hard. Oh, they both almost catch that nasty barrier. But look at the difference in the pace. That is the hybrid system at work. Lioness had nothing to defend with there, and he'll have to give up the lead. What an absolute shame for Nessie. He's driven a brilliant race from 5th on the grid, and almost looked like he'd managed to pull this one away. But Lorcas, the strategy, the conventional strategy, working well. Oh, and Nessie just trying to make something happen there. Caught the ball. Like he's not in tier 1 because that would be damage probably. And Mung is still flying on those tyres. There's Fang and Jules. Closest battle on the field now. Jules using the same tactic that Lorcas did, but he hasn't got quite as powerful a hybrid system. So he couldn't get alongside, but you saw the difference. Unless he got a good exit, but Lorcas just deployed his hybrid power and away he went. And we saw just like with the start, once it deploys, it's just so aggressive. It gives you a real big kick. I don't actually know the exact horsepower figure, but it looks like it's got to be at least 100 or 200 horsepower. It seems to give you off the on the boost versus off the boost, and look at the gap he's pulled now through that tight twisty section again, which relies on the boost. He's got braking zones, he can charge his boost up, he waits, gets on the power hard. Once he's squared up and off it goes. It's a real point and squirt sort of car, the Audi. It requires a weird sort of finesse. So no, Nessie, yeah, will pit just to make sure he gets back. Looks like he probably would have made the final lap on fuel, as it's now almost 58 minutes in. Not long left in this race. Comes out in third, not far behind. A great comeback. Oh, and Nessie gets the wall on the exit of the pit lane. Like I say, Nessie probably lucky that wall hit he did have on the previous lap would have cost him damage in tier 1 probably, which would have dropped him behind Mung now. So he's kind of lucky he's in that lower tier. He's looking very quick. His second race in driver's room. Mung is the defending tier 2 champion. Doesn't move up to tier 1. Doesn't get on with the heavy damage, and decided to sit in tier 2. He actually makes a very good measuring kind of yardstick for the new boys. You know, if they beat Mung comprehensively, tier 1, watch out. If they're about Mung's pace, tier 1 is going to have a new person who can win races. So if they can comprehensively beat Mung, he's a quick guy. Tier 1 should watch out for a new hotshot coming through. As we talk about coming through, Jules now has the inside line for the bridge corner. But he gets it wrong. Probably got caught out by the ghosted car. That looks like maybe Gr1. Yep. And now Fang's got the position again. Is Fang going to be able to hold off Jules? Jules who's had a really cracking race actually. It would be a shame if he falls behind Fang. Just for his points tally. But Fang did also have a good race. He's been fairly mistake free. He's a very outspoken driver. With a bit of a bad reputation, but this has actually been a really clean, good race. Oh, Jules with a late dive, tries to make it work. He's trying everything to get that position. We are on the final lap now. We cut back to the leaders. Lorcas now. Look at the lead he's got now. He's Messi home to take that final pit stop. Comfortably got the whole back straight to himself. Lorcas coming into the final corner. What a fantastic drive from the Greek. He's back in tier 2. Only took him 3 races to get a win. Great drive by Lorcas to take the win in the Audi VGT. INSE, another strong result, building a good championship challenge after missing round 1. Does a celebratory crash into the wall. This is becoming a thing now. Mung probably will be disappointed with third. Looked like he was probably the fastest car on track, but early mistakes cost him. He set pole and got fastest lap. A little bit of a lost opportunity. Looks like Fang's going to hold off Jules. Jules may have made a mistake there. A mature, good drive by Fang. His only real error looked to be that contact with Mung that wasn't his fault. Might have made one more error, but good pace and a solid, good drive there by Fang. Jules, strong 5th place. Possibly could have battled to, Mung if he'd been able to keep on the pace a little bit more, but some mistakes cost him. Verdict, 2 big errors really cost him. And then we've got V8 and Berkey, and then Craig and Jason at the back of the grid. So there's our podium. Lorcas with a fantastic win, takes maximum points. Then we have Nessie in 2nd, backing up his win last time, and Mung in 3rd. Pole position and fastest lap both go to Mung, so he steals a few points back from Lorcas's potential, but a great drive by Lorcas and all of our top 3. Let's see how that affects the overall standings in tier 2 for season 2. So we can see Lorcas jumps up to the front of the grid after a podium in round 1 and now a win. Nessie jumps up to 2nd with 2 good results. Mung jumps back up the grid a bit. Verdict drops a bit. Just a couple of middling results. And next time out will be at Brands Hatch in the Group 4 cars. Hope to see you then. And see you later. Goodbye.